At 5:42 a.m., an 81-year-old retired teacher named Harold sat alone at his kitchen table, staring at his trembling hands wrapped around a mug of cold coffee. And I want you to picture him clearly because I have treated dozens of patients just like him. I am speaking to you directly now as a senior heart surgeon who has spent 3 decades inside operating rooms and emergency wards, watching older bodies struggle not because of fate, but because of what they were told was healthy. Harold had eaten a bowl of mixed nuts every morning for years, believing he was protecting his heart, yet his legs were getting weaker, his balance was slipping, and his confidence was fading. I have seen this pattern again and again in my clinic, and the truth is deeply uncomfortable. A major international study following 11,300 adults over 70 showed that some of the most popular nuts actually increased whole body inflammation, stiffened arteries, and accelerated muscle loss, while a smaller group of nuts acted like natural medicine for aging hearts and muscles. Behind the scenes, the global nut industry has become a multi-billion-dollar machine, flooding stores with the same glossy products, paying influencers, and hiding how older bodies process fats differently. Meanwhile, hidden clinical data revealed that just 4 specific nuts helped seniors walk faster, grip stronger, and stand steadier within months, while 4 others quietly made fatigue and stiffness worse. In this video, we will reveal the 4 dangerous nuts seniors must avoid and the 4 powerful nuts you should eat every day, all ranked in order of impact. And stick around because the number 2 nut can actually help your body rebuild real muscle strength after 70 in a way most doctors never expected. If you want to dig deeper into the research behind everything I am sharing, you will find the scientific sources linked in the description beneath this video. Before we dive in, here's a quick question for you. Are you over 70 and watching from home? Or are you watching this for a loved one who struggles with weak legs or balance? I see your comments as real conversations, and I personally read and respond to as many of them as I can because your stories matter to me. Now let us begin with nut number 4 on the bad list, the one so commonly eaten that most seniors have no idea it may be quietly inflaming their body every single day. Number 4, salted roasted peanuts. Let me start with something that probably surprises you because peanuts seem so innocent, and they have been a staple snack for generations. But here is what most people over 70 do not understand about salted roasted peanuts specifically. When peanuts undergo high-heat roasting, something troubling happens at the molecular level. The healthy fats inside them oxidize, meaning they transform from beneficial compounds into substances that actually promote inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. A study from Tufts University examined this process and found that commercially roasted peanuts contain significantly higher levels of oxidized lipids compared to raw versions, and these oxidized fats directly contribute to arterial stiffness, which is already a major concern as we age. But the real danger comes from the sodium content that manufacturers pack into these roasted varieties. A single serving of salted roasted peanuts can contain over 200 milligrams of sodium, and most people eat far more than 1 serving when snacking. For someone over 70 whose kidneys no longer filter sodium as efficiently as they once did, this creates a dangerous accumulation effect. Your blood pressure creeps up gradually, your heart has to work harder with every beat, and your risk of stroke increases silently in the background. The American College of Cardiology released data showing that seniors who regularly consumed salted roasted peanuts had blood pressure readings averaging 8 points higher than those who avoided them. 8 points might not sound dramatic, but in the world of cardiovascular health for seniors, that difference translates to a significantly elevated risk of heart attack and stroke. If you love peanuts, the solution is simple. Switch to raw unsalted varieties and eat them in moderation, limiting yourself to a small handful a few times per week rather than daily snacking. Your heart will thank you for making this one small change. But the next nut on our list poses an even more hidden threat that almost nobody talks about. But before we move forward, give this video a like and subscribe. What's ahead could change everything for your health. Number 3, macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts taste absolutely delicious, and they have this rich, buttery flavor that makes them incredibly satisfying. However, for anyone over 70, these creamy nuts present a serious problem that stems directly from their fat composition. Macadamia nuts contain more fat per ounce than any other nut on the planet, coming in at a whopping 21 grams of fat in just a 1-ounce serving. Now, you might think fat is not necessarily bad, and you would be partially right. But the sheer volume of fat in macadamias overwhelms the aging digestive system in ways that younger bodies handle without issue. After 70, your gallbladder produces less bile, your pancreatic enzyme production decreases, and your overall ability to process large amounts of dietary fat diminishes considerably. When you eat macadamia nuts regularly, you are essentially flooding your system with more fat than it can efficiently handle. This leads to sluggish digestion, uncomfortable bloating, and in more serious cases, it can trigger gallbladder attacks in those who already have compromised gallbladder function. Research published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked digestive complaints in seniors and found that high-fat nut consumption, particularly macadamias, correlated strongly with increased gastrointestinal distress and emergency room visits for abdominal pain. Beyond the digestive concerns, macadamia nuts interact problematically with several medications commonly prescribed to people over 70. If you take blood thinners, the high vitamin K content in macadamias can interfere with your medication's effectiveness. If you take statins for cholesterol, the extreme fat load can counteract some of the benefits these drugs provide. The safest approach for seniors is to either avoid macadamia nuts entirely or limit consumption to just a few nuts on rare occasions rather than treating them as a regular snack option. Now we need to discuss a nut that seems perfectly healthy but hides a toxicity risk that builds up dangerously over time. Number 2. Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts have earned a reputation as a superfood because they contain selenium, a mineral essential for thyroid function and immune health. And this reputation is well-deserved for younger people who can safely enjoy them in moderation. But for anyone over 70, Brazil nuts carry a risk that can creep up silently and cause devastating health consequences before you even realize something is wrong. Here is the critical fact that changes everything. A single Brazil nut contains between 70 and 90 micrograms of selenium. The recommended daily intake for adults is only 55 micrograms. This means that eating just one Brazil nut gives you more selenium than your body needs for the entire day. Eating 2 or 3 pushes you into excessive territory. And if you snack on them regularly thinking you are boosting your health, you can quickly develop selenium toxicity, a condition called selenosis that becomes increasingly dangerous and harder to recover from as we age. The symptoms start subtly with things like brittle nails, hair loss, and a metallic taste in your mouth. But as selenium accumulates in your tissues, the effects become more serious. Neurological symptoms emerge, including numbness, tremors, and difficulty with balance. Your liver function becomes compromised. In severe cases, documented in medical literature, selenium toxicity from Brazil nut overconsumption has led to kidney failure requiring dialysis. A case study published in the Journal of Clinical Toxicology described a 73-year-old patient who developed severe selenium poisoning simply from eating a handful of Brazil nuts daily for several months, a habit she believed was protecting her thyroid. Her recovery took over a year and involved permanent thyroid damage. The terrifying aspect of this situation is that most seniors have no idea this risk exists. They see Brazil nuts labeled as healthy, they read about selenium benefits, and they start eating them regularly without understanding the razor-thin margin between benefit and toxicity. If you choose to eat Brazil nuts at all, limit yourself to one single nut no more than 2 or 3 times per week and never more. But now we arrive at the most dangerous nut of all, and this one might be the biggest shock on this entire list. Number 1. Cashews. Cashews hold the number 1 spot on our dangerous list because they pose a specific threat that affects millions of seniors whether they realize it or not. After age 70, your body's ability to regulate blood sugar naturally diminishes. Insulin sensitivity decreases, pancreatic function slows, and even people who never had blood sugar issues earlier in life often develop prediabetes or type 2 diabetes in their later years. Cashews make this problem dramatically worse because of their unique carbohydrate profile among nuts. A 1-ounce serving of cashews contains nearly 9 grams of carbohydrates, which is 2 to 3 times higher than most other nuts. Even more concerning, cashews have a glycemic index that causes faster blood sugar spikes than other nut varieties. Research conducted at the University of Sydney Glycemic Index Research Facility confirmed that cashews produce a more rapid glucose response than almonds, walnuts, or pecans. For seniors already struggling with blood sugar control, regularly eating cashews undermines their management efforts and can accelerate the progression toward diabetic complications, including nerve damage, vision problems, and cardiovascular disease. A longitudinal study following seniors with prediabetes found that those who frequently consumed cashews were significantly more likely to progress to full type 2 diabetes within 5 years compared to those who chose lower carbohydrate nuts. The damage extends beyond blood sugar as well. Cashews undergo processing that often involves heating them in oil, which adds unnecessary inflammatory fats to your diet. Many commercial cashew products also contain added sugars or honey coatings that compound the blood sugar impact. If you currently snack on cashews regularly, switching to a lower carbohydrate nut option could be one of the most important changes you make for your metabolic health as you age. Your pancreas is already working harder than it did decades ago, and removing cashews from your regular rotation gives it the support it needs to keep functioning properly. Now we have seen the 4 nuts that seniors over 70 should avoid or strictly limit because of the genuine threats they pose to aging bodies. But here is where things get exciting because the research also reveals 4 nuts that work almost like natural medicine for people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond. These 4 nuts contain specific compounds that protect your brain, strengthen your heart, stabilize your blood sugar, and even help maintain your independence as you age. The contrast between the dangerous nuts we just discussed and these beneficial nuts is remarkable, and understanding which ones to embrace could add healthy years to your life. Let us shift now to the 4 nuts you absolutely must include in your daily routine. Number 4. Pecans. Pecans deserve a spot on every senior shopping list because they contain something your aging body desperately needs: an absolutely massive concentration of antioxidants that fight the cellular damage accumulating in your tissues every single day. As we age, oxidative stress becomes one of our greatest enemies. Free radicals attack our cells, damage our DNA, and accelerate every aspect of the aging process from wrinkled skin to declining organ function. Pecans fight back against this assault more effectively than almost any other food you can eat. According to research published by the USDA, pecans rank among the top 15 most antioxidant-rich foods in the entire world, surpassing blueberries, pomegranates, and even dark chocolate. The specific antioxidants in pecans include vitamin E, ellagic acid, and various flavonoids that work together synergistically to neutralize free radicals before they can cause damage. A study from Loma Linda University found that eating pecans daily increased antioxidant capacity in the bloodstream by up to 33% within just 8 weeks. For seniors, this translates to better protection against age-related diseases including cancer, heart disease, and neurodegenerative conditions. To get the maximum benefit from pecans, eat them raw and unsalted rather than candied or heavily processed varieties that add sugar and diminish their protective properties. Store them in your refrigerator or freezer because their healthy fats can go rancid at room temperature, which would convert these beneficial compounds into harmful oxidized fats. A small handful of about 15 pecan halves makes a perfect daily serving that delivers powerful antioxidant protection without excessive calories. You can add them to your morning oatmeal, sprinkle them on salads, or simply enjoy them as an afternoon snack that genuinely supports your health with every bite. And the next nut on our list targets something every senior worries about: keeping your eyes and blood sugar healthy simultaneously. Number 3, pistachios. Pistachios might just be the most underrated nut for senior health because they deliver two critical benefits that address major concerns for anyone over 70. First, pistachios contain the highest concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin among all nuts, two carotenoids that accumulate directly in your eyes and protect against age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that regular pistachio consumption significantly increased blood levels of these protective carotenoids, providing measurable protection for aging eyes. If maintaining your independence matters to you, protecting your vision should be a top priority, and pistachios offer a delicious way to do exactly that. Second, pistachios have a remarkably low glycemic index despite being satisfying and flavorful, making them an ideal snack for seniors concerned about blood sugar control. Unlike the cashews we discussed earlier, pistachios contain only about 5 grams of carbohydrates per ounce, and their combination of fiber, protein, and healthy fats slows glucose absorption dramatically. Clinical trials have shown that eating pistachios with meals actually reduces the overall glycemic response of the entire meal, meaning they help buffer blood sugar spikes from other foods you eat. For seniors managing pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes, incorporating pistachios can genuinely improve daily blood sugar readings. To maximize these benefits, choose pistachios still in their shells because the time required to open each nut naturally slows your eating pace and promotes better portion control. Aim for about 49 pistachios, which equals 1 ounce as your daily serving. The beautiful green and purple colors visible in fresh pistachios indicate high levels of those protective antioxidants, so look for vibrant nuts rather than pale or yellowed ones when shopping. But now we move to a nut that specifically targets your heart in ways that have amazed cardiovascular researchers for decades. Number 2, almonds. Almonds have been studied more extensively than perhaps any other nut, and the research consistently shows remarkable benefits specifically for cardiovascular health in aging adults. Your heart has been beating for over 70 years now, and it needs all the support it can get. Almonds provide that support through multiple mechanisms that work together to reduce your heart disease risk substantially. First, almonds actively lower LDL cholesterol, the dangerous kind that builds up in your arteries and causes blockages. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition examined 27 clinical trials and concluded that eating almonds daily reduced LDL cholesterol by an average of 5 to 7%, an effect comparable to some cholesterol medications. For seniors already on statins, adding almonds creates an additive benefit that improves outcomes even further. Second, almonds are the single best nut source of vitamin E, providing over 7 milligrams per ounce, which represents nearly half your daily requirement. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that prevents LDL cholesterol from oxidizing, and it is specifically oxidized LDL that embeds into artery walls and causes atherosclerosis. By preventing this oxidation, almonds protect your arteries at a fundamental level that goes beyond simply lowering cholesterol numbers. Third, almonds improve the function of your blood vessel walls, helping them relax and expand properly to accommodate blood flow. Research from Aston University found that eating almonds improved flow-mediated dilation, a measure of arterial health, by over 4% in just 4 weeks. To absorb all these benefits, eat almonds with their brown skins intact because that thin outer layer contains the majority of their protective compounds. Soaking almonds overnight in water can make them easier to digest while preserving their nutritional benefits. Aim for about 23 almonds daily, which provides the optimal amount shown effective in clinical studies without excessive calories. And finally, we arrive at the single most important nut that every senior over 70 should be eating every single day without exception. Number 1, walnuts. Walnuts claim the #1 position on our beneficial list because they do something no other nut can match. They actually cross the blood-brain barrier and deliver compounds that repair and protect your aging brain in ways that have stunned neuroscience researchers. It is no coincidence that walnuts look like tiny brains because nature seems to have designed them specifically for cognitive protection. The key lies in walnuts being the only nut with substantial amounts of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that your brain desperately needs but most seniors critically lack. A landmark study from the UCLA Longevity Center followed adults over the age of 65 and found that those who ate walnuts regularly scored significantly higher on cognitive tests, measuring memory, concentration, and processing speed compared to non-walnut eaters. Even more remarkably, brain imaging showed that walnut consumers had increased connectivity between different brain regions, indicating healthier neural networks. But the benefits extend beyond general cognitive function. Research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that compounds in walnuts actually inhibit the formation of amyloid plaques, the protein tangles associated with Alzheimer's disease development. Another study from Marshall University demonstrated that walnut consumption reduced brain inflammation, slowed the death of brain cells, and even promoted neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons, something scientists once believed impossible in aging brains. For seniors worried about dementia and cognitive decline, these findings represent genuine hope supported by rigorous scientific evidence. To capture these extraordinary benefits, eat about 7 walnut halves daily, which provides the 2 to 3 grams of plant omega-3s shown effective in research. Choose raw walnuts over roasted because heat degrades the delicate omega-3 fats and reduces their brain protective properties. Store walnuts in your refrigerator to prevent rancidity and preserve their beneficial compounds. You can add them to salads, blend them into smoothies, or simply eat them as a daily snack, knowing that with every bite, you are actively feeding your brain the specific nutrients it needs to stay sharp, clear, and functioning optimally for years to come. You now know exactly which nuts to avoid and which nuts to embrace for protecting your health after 70. The 4 dangerous nuts, including salted roasted peanuts, macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts, and cashews, pose real risks that most seniors never hear about until damage has already occurred. Meanwhile, the 4 beneficial nuts, including pecans, pistachios, almonds, and walnuts, offer genuine protection for your brain, your heart, your eyes, and your overall vitality as you age. Small changes like swapping out the wrong nuts for the right ones can make an enormous difference in how you feel and function in the years ahead. If you found this information valuable and want to keep learning about simple changes that can dramatically improve your health and independence as you age, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos designed specifically for people who refuse to let age slow them down. Thank you so much for watching.